Good evening or good afternoon, everybody. Welcome into the EKU Tailgate Show. And as soon as we come on there, we got a legend joining us. Oh, never mind. That's just Chris Minner. What am I thinking about? How are you, sir?
You're right on both occasions.
Here, let him we'll get his headset figured out there, Gage. But yeah, well, before we kind of get into everything today, we'll get Chris's mic fixed up. Look at this, what he brought to us, Howard.
I see that.
And I'm trying to lose some weight and get the dad bod taken care of, and he brings this over to us.
Well, I tell you what, I'll take care of this, and you take care of your weight. Okay? That's an easy problem.
Well, we got a big college game today, but down there last night, it was a rough night for the Indians last night. Well,
it was tough for us. It's tough to overcome turnovers, and the kids understand what it takes to win. Yeah. So the biggest thing with us is eliminate those mistakes, and we feel like we can play with a lot of guys in the state. Not going to give you coach talk, but yeah, man, it's just 4 fumbles and an interception. It's just tough to overcome that.
Well, and you look at, we're able to move the ball up and down the field all night long on them, and then we'd get inside the 30, 35-yard line. That's whenever the turnovers occurred. So I still feel like you got to be pretty happy, not happy, but like at least pleased if you're Coach Blair with the way you were able to kind of come out there. Heck, you haven't played a game in a week and a half essentially, so to kind of shake off the rust. I think that kind of had something to do with it, but now the schedule just keeps getting tougher for you guys.
It keeps getting tougher, and if anybody knows me, they know that I don't like the moral victories. Yeah. I like to win. I'm a sore loser, and I'm okay with that because that's what helped me to be the best I could be. But we're getting to the point to where, okay, we need to trust the coach because we've tried it our way.
Yeah.
And that's what happened last night. Our kids were getting frustrated. Defensively, our kids were getting frustrated, and they started trying to do it their way, and that just snowballed. We're going to watch film and let them realize, hey, man, we love you guys. We spend a lot of time on our game plan. Trust the process.
Yeah.
And once our kids do that, I think we can give people problems.
Let's look at EKU Morehead State today. Obviously, you got some interest there, and you. Where'd you get this from? This looks amazing. You said you were walking over there to get some.
Well,
smoked
I have a sous chef that I have to mentor.
Okay.
And so we have some smoked thighs and some smoked chicken legs, and I had to go and check to make sure that he was doing everything up to temp.
Okay, all right.
Now, where did you get qualified to be able to check somebody else?
A lot of things like that.
A lot of eating.
A lot of stuff like that I cannot classify because I'll get in trouble. So I'm kind of incognito when it comes to the food. The competitive eating, cooking, and stuff, so I've got to stay under wraps. I can't tell you everything.
What do you think about this game today, though? Morehead State coming in, they got destroyed last week. I think it was 59-2 to Montana, which Montana's a top 10 team in the FCS, so not a huge surprise there. But the Colonels, I feel like you got to come out, take care of business, and try to get this game over with early on if you can.
Like Coach Kidd always told us, you got to beat who you're supposed to beat, and I'm fully expecting us to dominate them because that's what we should do, and it's not because of this or that or because I'm an Eastern guy, but I feel like we should beat them the way that the scoreboard should tell, like we're a notch above you guys.
And you have to be careful in a situation like today because
trap game.
Those are the kind of situations that you can think that you can go through the day on fumes. Mm-hmm. You can just put it on autopilot, will get us a win. And that's when teams slip up on you, and that's the last thing you want.
It's kind of like the same thing we said last week. West Georgia comes in here with nothing to lose. Their first year as a D1 program, first UAC game for them against Eastern. So they really could come in with nothing to lose. Same thing goes for Morehead State. They're not expected to win. They're, I think, 28.5-point underdogs. So for them to come out here and kind of let it, they could throw the kitchen sink at you, see what happens, and go from there. So I think if Eastern can build a 2 or 3 touchdown, 3-score lead there early on that first quarter and a half or so, really kind of get this game out of reach, and then you can just kind of run the ball, get out of here healthy, and get ready for another UAC game next week.
Well, that's the biggest thing with games like this, that you feel like you're supposed to win.
Yeah.
Hey, take care of business, get healthy, and let's go to the next week.
And let some of the guys that normally wouldn't get to play, let them in the game, let them get some experience, some snaps. And
because they've earned it.
Yeah.
They've earned it. You're going through practice, whether you're a starter, second team, third team, at some point you want to cash a check because you've paid taxes.
Well, today we got to see Kenyatta Harge up north. Got a tackle for Kentucky. We got some guys that you coached playing for Eastern. We got Kenley, Brady Hensley, guys like that might see some snaps today, hopefully, if we get this one out of reach enough to get out there and make a little play. And who knows, you make a play or two in a game like this, maybe down the line your name might get called again.
Yeah, because it's always good to get, like I said, those guys that normally don't get any snaps, it's good to get them because they've paid their taxes.
Yeah.
And that's what we call taxes, is by practicing and working out and being on time. they've paid their taxes, so let me get a check. If we get a score that isn't favorable for us, pay those guys.
And sometimes when guys that don't normally get a chance to play, when they come in, they're still great athletes.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And when they come in, and in some situations they might appear to be running the score up, but that's not necessarily the case.
Yeah.
These guys, when given the opportunity, they want to be at their best,
hungry,
and they're simply doing what they've been trained to do.
Absolutely.
Well,
Absolutely.
it goes to the point to where you try to make a name for yourself. You make a play or two, and then who knows next week, because there's already injuries. Kyle Kelly's out for the year with an ACL. There's a couple other guys that are now done for the year. So it's going to be next man up eventually anyway. You got to be ready if your name is called, and I think we might see that case kind of shake out today against the Morehead State team. Again, 28.5-point underdogs. I think the over-under's 53 points. You got a prediction score for us or anything?
I generally don't do that. Yeah, I don't predict scores.
I don't blame you.
I predict the Colonels are going to win, but I don't predict scores because, like I said, the game of football can go funny ways.
Yeah.
And if you start overlooking teams, like I said, they have nothing to lose. And one of the things that Coach Kidd always told us is take care of the small things, and the big things take care of themselves. And I think if we take care of the small things today, the scoreboard will indicate that.
What do you think of the defense last week? Defense, I think it was the most or the fewest points they've allowed since, I think, 2001 against Tarleton, or 2021, against Tarleton State. So it's been a few years since the defense played that well. What did you think of the way they played last week?
I thought we looked faster last week. That's one thing that I've just noticed in the last 3 or 4 years is we look like we're always either a step behind or a step slower. I felt like we were fast last week, and I don't know if that's because of maybe the level of West Georgia.
Yeah.
But I felt like we were faster this year, and that's that's a good thing. When you can run, you can play football.
When you're
playing
playing
football.
Western and Mississippi State, who just like
they
this,
make
the
you look
whole
slow.
Game, they can make you look slow. So maybe that's a good sign for us that against UAC competition, we look like we're a step above them. That could be a good thing as we go kind of down the line. Coach, I appreciate you stopping by and bringing the food to us. I'm ready to get some grill. We're going to take a commercial break. Me and Howard's going to take a little snack of this, and we'll where's Gage? He's over getting our camera fixed up. But
enjoy.
It's going to be a fun game today, and I love the atmosphere here.
Yeah.
There was a great crowd out last week, and you've been around. You guys have been around for a long time. You've seen a lot of this. In my experience with EKU football fans, as soon as we lose a game or two, they don't come out. They stay home.
Richmond.
They stay home.
It's Richmond. That goes for Madison Central.
Yeah, that's true.
Or EKU.
That's
if you
true.
lose a couple games, then okay, we'll just come back next year.
Yeah, that's why.
You give them something to see, and they'll be here.
Yes,
give
buddy.
them something to see,
buddy.
keep them entertained, and they will come.
Keep winning, and they will fill that place up.
And that's why I think, too, having like the stuff that they have, like the in-game promotions and the light show and things like the inflatables in there for the kids. It's a show within itself now, other than what's going on the field. You got to entertain the whole game now, because last week that first half felt like it took forever.
Oh yeah.
It felt like it just drug on, and there was reviews and timeouts and
it was a long
incomplete passes. So I think fans can kind of get a little kind of antsy in their seats, and this game's over. Let's go to the house. You want to try to find a way to keep them in their seats throughout the entire game.
And I'll tell you, one of the things about those, like you say, it being a long game, that means there's intervals in there where between commercial breaks and reviews and things like that, there's nothing in a game that can kill a drive. Take momentum from you any more so than a long delay.
Yes,
100%.
And sometimes when you have a commercial break that takes 3 minutes, 3 minutes is a long time to be without play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of things can change in 3 minutes.
And I'll tell you something else that helps, and I know the Colonel faithful, they don't like me mentioning this name, but it helps when UK plays early and we play late.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Because I really believe that there's people that'll go to that 12 o'clock game in Lexington and then come over here and catch this EKU game
They sure will. They sure will.
Just football fans in general like to watch the game of football. So you go watch Kentucky blow out Miami, and maybe you leave before the fourth quarter of that one. It's over with, you know. You come out here, you can tailgate again, and then go watch another good football game. And now you've got 2 Kentucky teams playing in this one, so you can
and
really
even
get
if there's a difference in EKU and Morehead, this is still a big game.
Oh, yeah.
This is still a game that people want to see, regardless of
the same thing with Western and us 2 weeks ago. It's the same thing, except we're kind of the upper echelon now in this matchup. So it'll be fun to see. I think it's going to be a good game, Coach. We appreciate you stopping by. We're going to take a commercial break. We'll grab us a little snack here.
Let me slide.
Yeah, go ahead. Hey, this is probably a good thing for me if you do.
So. We don't want him to take that with him.
No, I smack his hand if he did that. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Hey, thank you. I appreciate you guys.
We'll step aside for a quick commercial break. We'll be right back on the EKU Tailgate Show.
I'm Michelle. And I'm Jennifer. And in the spring of 1992, Bishop Small Engine Repair was born in our mom and dad's barn in Estill County.
Then in the fall of 1992, we made the move to Madison County, where we are today. With the support of our family, customers, and community, we have continued to grow in the outdoor power industry. With a full line of products from Copiadeck, Grasshopper, Echo, and Shindawa, we can help you tackle your yard so you can enjoy it with your family. Bishop Small Engine Repair, where our focus is our customer. Stop on in, 119 North Estill Avenue in Richmond. We can't wait to see ya.
Who makes the best meal in Richmond? Nuevo Vallarta. Friendly service, a place that's good for kids and good for groups. Head to Nuevo Vallarta on Big Hill Avenue in Richmond. Nuevo Vallarta is known for warm hospitality, great prices, great food, and the best fajitas in town. Start with an appetizer, order a la carte, or choose from their huge menu of Mexican favorites for grown-ups and kids. Nuevo Vallarta on Big Hill Avenue in Richmond.
Whitaker Bank in Madison County is your local bank for convenience. With more branches than literally any other bank in Madison County, why go anywhere else? Whitaker Bank is known for their friendly customer service and easy access drive-thrus. Whitaker Bank, your home for local, friendly, family banking. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
Granite, marble, and quartz for any surface. Make a lifetime commitment you won't regret.
Cars of Kentucky is a proud sponsor of Eastern Kentucky University Athletics. In Richmond, we bleed maroon. Go Colonels. And when you're ready for your next pre-owned automobile, swing on over to Cars of Kentucky. Cars of Kentucky has vehicles starting at $3,000 and up, so we literally have something for every budget. 356 Big Hill Avenue in Richmond, or check them out, carsofkentucky.com. Let's go Colonels!
To some, it's just a boat. But to Jim, it's his escape from meetings, traffic, and the grind of daily life. He may not catch any keepers, but he wouldn't trade his day on the lake for anything in the world. That's why his boat is insured by Kentucky Farm Bureau. But it's not just Kentucky's Farm Bureau. It's Jim's Recharge the Battery Farm Bureau. My Farm Bureau.
David Mayo, John Rader, and Chris Hornsby with Kentucky Farm Bureau.
We're back here at the EKU Tailgate Show. Howard Miller, Michael Watkins here with you, getting you set for the Colonels and Morehead State today. Kickoff is about an hour and 15 minutes away. And Howard, now, what year did you graduate here at Eastern?
Well, I was on the team from 72 to 75.
Okay.
I came back and got my degree in the early 80s.
Okay.
But I was with some pretty talented guys back during that particular era. That was during that Florida floodgate we had.
Oh, yeah.
We was bringing a lot of guys up out of the Miami, Tampa, Orlando. Good gracious, man. We had we had a lot of talent over the years from the state of Florida.
See, I graduated from Eastern in 2012, and I mean, you look at obviously it's changed since when you were here, but it's changed a lot in the last 10, 12 years since I graduated. I mean,
everything.
I spent most of my time in the Rick Erdman Center, what they call it now. It was the Fitness and Wellness Center. Well, now the Fitness and Wellness Center is right smack dab in the middle of campus, and they've got more basketball courts. They've got the rock climbing walls expanded, the weights and everything. It's really impressive how the transformation has occurred on this campus over the last 10 plus years. And I think it just kind of goes to, again, and attest attest to what they've tried to do with this university. You got free textbooks now for undergrad students, and they just do a good job of promoting it and getting itself out there. And for the football team, we're trying to move up. We're trying to move up again. That's kind of the thought process now. And I think the more wins we get, the more fans we get, it's all just going to help us continue to do so. And last week, another good step in the right direction, beating West Georgia 26-7. When we look back at that game last week, what sticks out to you?
Well, as Chris was talking about earlier, just the way that the guys came together and played. We played a game down at Mississippi State, and anytime you step up and play a SEC team, you're expecting to go in and play well, but very few times are we going to go in and knock off a team in what is the #1 football conference in the country.
Yep.
But at least you want to go and represent well. And then against Western, as I've said, nobody will ever convince me that Western Kentucky University is 30 points better than we are. We shot ourselves in the foot repeatedly. And I think last week, and just being in the dressing room and seeing the guys before they come out and took the field, you could just sense that they were ready to play.
Yeah.
I look into the eyes, and a lot of times people say, well, I can see it in their eyes. Well, that's a true fact. You can see when a guy is really ready to play. And they look like last week at practice that week of practice had a great week of preparation. And I believe that even though we're playing, as Chris stated, a team that we are expected to win, that does not mean you do not go out and play to the strongest of your ability. You never let your opponent determine the intensity by which you're going to perform. You play the same regardless of who is on the other side of the ball.
Well, this is a game you talked about. We should be able, it's a 28.5-point spread. So there's a wide margin. Vegas thinks that Colonels should win by a lot. So, but you look back at that game last week, you talked about the game faces that they had on, and that was really something that you noticed. I was impressed with offensively what they were able to do. They kind of mixed it up some, kind of let Morrissey loose, cut him loose a little bit, let him get out of the pocket some. That was very impressive as well. So I think that was what I noticed mainly from last week's win, is just the offense looked more comfortable. They opened it up some, and the running game really wasn't what it was against the two bigger schools, but when they needed it, the run game still looked good as well last week.
And the thing about that, too, is when you have that early in the year, when you're starting up, you have things that you can do that often does not fall into place when you're playing a, let's say, SEC team. All right, we shot ourselves in the foot against Western, but there were some things that went well. And then last week, it was a coming together of those little things.
Well, I've always heard that, in football, you script a lot of your plays early on. Maybe the first drive, 2 drives, maybe even first 2 or 3 drives, you script what plays you're going to run. Well, when you're playing, a Mississippi State especially, or a Western Kentucky, and a lot of times those scripted plays, well, if you fall down 7-14-0 in the first 2 or 3 minutes, fall down a score or 2, it's really hard to continue with that game script. So then you got to go off script, and that's when things can kind of break loose for you. I felt like last week we did a really good job of staying with the task at hand. Never really seemed to kind of get out of the comfort zone, and that's why I think the offense seemed to be in a lot more, a lot better sync than what we had seen those first 2 weeks.
And Michael, one of the things too that a lot of times people don't take into consideration is that when you're in some games, to be down a couple of scores can literally whip you.
Oh, yeah.
And the mindset, where you are as far as your mindset is concerned in being down 2 scores or 3 scores has a lot to do with the way that you play the rest of the game.
Yeah, when Morrissey last week, 17 of 30 for 277 yards, just shy of 300 there. Had a couple of touchdown passes. Running game, only 88 yards on the ground, but Carter had 61. Latham had 26. Montgomery looked really good last week for the Colonels. Had a 46-yard reception, was good in their return game. Montgomery had 2 returns for 68 yards, including a 42-yarder. And I think him doing that is going to open up the offense more. We got a lot of weapons out there, however. Wide receiver-wise, that's one. I think that there's been I talked about it on one of my sports segments this week. I believe there's been 13 different receivers or backs or tight ends, 13 different catchers of the ball from Matt Morrissey, and that's pretty impressive through 3 games that 13 or 14 different guys have caught the football.
That's spreading it out, and that makes a difference because when you have that number of touches by your receivers, and they're building, every time they make a reception, they're building their confidence. And I'm going to tell you something, and we all know that a group of guys that believe in themselves, they're hard to beat. They're hard to beat.
Now, let me ask you a question. When's the last time that you missed an EKU home game?
The last time? How old are you?
How old am I?
Yeah.
Ooh, 35.
It's probably before you was
born.
Well,
man. Well, I talked to Coach Wells on yesterday, actually. Yesterday he called me. Paul Vaughn. Do you know Paul Vaughn?
I know Paul Vaughn.
He has been in the hospital for a few days now. He's still in the hospital today. It's his first time missing an EKU home football game in around 50 years. So Paul Vaughn, Coach Wells called me yesterday, said that Paul was still in the hospital, was not going to be out today. It'll be the first time he has missed an EKU home football game in 50 years.
I don't know when the last time. To be honest with you, I don't know when I missed a. Well, as far as traveling with the team for the last 20+ years, especially. But as far as even a home game, I don't know when the last time I missed.
Well, and I think to me that's one of the things that makes this program special.
Oh yeah,
People like that. We know. You got your Kentucky faithful. You've got your people that like Duke or Louisville or whatever the case may be. But when you've got people like that haven't missed a game in 50 or 30+ years, and I think that's one thing that makes this program special.
It does. It says a lot. It says a lot about tradition. All of that.
How are you, sir?
You know this guy here, Darnell Hill?
Yes. I interviewed him for a little computer thing right not too long ago. We talked a little bit about that. I'm going to put your headset on and talk to us here. Now, you said he went to Morehead State, right?
Yeah.
We're going to let him come on the air with us?
He went up there. Since it's been so much time, we're going to let it
forgive
slide.
Him a little
we're
bit.
going to let it slide. Okay.
Well, how are you, sir?
Doing fine.
Thank you. Good deal. Well, welcome into the show here. We're talking about the game, and obviously it's going to be a fun one today. I mean, the weather, again, is a little warm for us, but I think it's going to be a good day.
That's why they got Morehead sitting on the sunny side.
There you go.
It's going to be hot over Howard.
There he comes. There he comes. Like that's supposed to matter.
Yeah, exactly.
That's going to matter. It's going to be 95 degrees before they even get started.
That's true. It's one of those days, though, and the weather inside that stadium can be crazy sometimes. I'm sure whenever you played there.
Well, the turf is what makes all the difference in the world.
That's
turf,
true.
I've heard different ones say turf can make 6, 7, 8 degry difference on a hot day like this, or maybe more.
Yeah, and that's going to be a big deal when you get out there on the field. These guys, and by the time next week rolls around, it could be 20-degree difference. That's the thing about Kentucky weather. You never know what it's going to be. So let's talk about the Morehead State days and what you've seen from the program there, from when you were there to where we're at now with it.
Oh, it's changed tremendously since I was there. Like, they've got a lot better.
Is that because you left?
Hey, that's part of it. I ain't going to say they didn't. They got better. No, but it's real fun for me to play up there and stuff like that. I could have played here. Roy Key wanted me to come here and play as well, too, so I had some options to do that. And chose Morehead, but I really enjoyed the experience and stuff like that with it. They got a pretty good program right now, and it has really been growing over the seasons, even in basketball as well. So I'm expecting a pretty good game tonight. Easton's playing really good, tough right now. And of course, they got a tough schedule.
They do.
I think Morehead's still in OVC, aren't they?
No. So now the OVC's kind of dissolved. I mean, it's still there, but it's not nearly what it used to be. But with the FCS and the FBS, Morehead State is an FCS program, but they're still not where Eastern is. So it's very different as to how things shake out. Now, last week, a rough week for them against Montana. Now, you got to talk about tough schedules. You play Montana, then you come here, you're a 30-point underdog against EKU. EKU. It's a lot going into what Morehead's doing, but you have to have games like that to be able to build your program up.
You have to.
Right,
You
stay
have to.
competitive. Yeah, you do.
It's the same thing with Eastern going on the road to Mississippi State and to Western. Those are games sometimes you just got to take your lumps and try to build from it. You know?
Right. Because they have to play those highly caliber teams, and actually to get up there in that league and stuff like that. I think that's why Marshall got in there too. Marshall played a lot of tough teams to get where they're at today.
Well, and the difference in FBS and FCS is, attendance is a big factor. The amount of people that you can get in your stadium is a big factor. The number of scholarships you give out, that helps, obviously. Trying to get to that level where Eastern and now Morehead is also trying to get to is a big deal because you all want to be on the same playing ground or same level. So, and that's why it makes it very difficult to go up a level and play a team like that. Now, we've seen, like today, James Madison beat North Carolina on the road. That final score of that game was 70-50. That's a lot of points for a football game.
That is.
Former director of athletics Matt Rohn went from here to James Madison. And James Madison, again, that's a big win for that program on the road in North Carolina. But I don't remember the last time EKU had a win like that. I guess it went against Bowling Green a couple of years ago when Coach Wells had the heart issue. The following week he came back, and that was against Bowling Green. That's probably the biggest win they've had in a long time. And I think, again, this year just trying to build the program back. And I still feel like we're kind of underrated, Howard. I mean, I tell you,
over the years, I saw us go down and come within a couple of plays of beating Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. We went up to Bloomington, and if it wasn't for a fumble inside the 5-yard line going in, we almost beat Indiana. And I know almost is still not a win. But we've given Kentucky over the years all they could handle as far as that particular given Saturday was concerned.
I remember the overtime game against Kentucky. I think that might have been, 7, 8, maybe 9 years ago, somewhere through there.
Somewhere along there.
Just last year we had them on the ropes and couldn't close it out. So I think Eastern is still looking for one of those signature program wins.
Yes.
The Bowling Green win was a good win, but I don't think it's what we want. We're not there. We haven't got one of those in a while.
Yeah.
But, when you talk to Coach Wells, and I'm sure he will say, those games would be nice to win, but we really care about our conference games.
That's the main thing.
And, last week you get a win against West Georgia. Today you play Morehead State. You really want to build something and build momentum before those conference games come around in the next few weeks.
I tell you one thing about it, though. When Eastern Kentucky University rolls into these D1 stadiums, those programs don't take Eastern lightly.
No, and you can't.
They don't take Eastern lightly because our tradition goes with us, and they know it. We've still got a good football program. We've got a great football team.
Yep.
And when we go to play, they don't take us lightly now.
Yeah. Let's talk about Morehead State for a minute. Tell us some stories or a story from your time there.
Let me say this first.
Okay,
Let me say this right quick. When this guy came out of high school, he was in one of the most talented classes that's ever come out of Richmond.
Okay.
His class sent, 7, 8 guys to college.
Oh, wow.
He and his brother went to Morehead. Velma Miller, Coach Miller, those three went to Morehead. Hubert Broadus, former principal over at Madison Central, came up here. Robbie Morton went down to Tennessee. So they
Jimmy Mundy come here too, I think.
Yeah, Jimmy Mundy came up here. I mean, that was one of the most talented single classes that came out of Richmond.
Man,
I tell you, man, they went undefeated. Trigg County beat you guys in the playoffs.
Semifinals.
Now, what's Velmar doing now? He was coaching in Morehead, right, for a little while?
Yeah, he's at Madison Central right now.
He's stepping out there now.
Yeah, he's still there.
He was going to be with us today, but he works in does something in the press box over at the University of Kentucky.
Right,
so he would have been here with us
He's
today.
important then, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but when I went there, it was one thing I noticed, right off the bat, coming out of high school, was everybody there was as good, if not better than you were.
Yeah.
And that really kind of shocked me a little bit. I mean, we was practicing one day, man, and I never forget the guy's name, Michael Moxbury. Man, I'm a fullback. Man, he knocked my contacts up in the back of my head.
Oh God!
They was in the back of my eyeballs.
That's a hard hit, man. That's a hard hit.
That's true.
It was a whole different game, stuff like that. But you know, it's something. I realize you really have to be in shape for when you go in at fall, when you go into practice with the early late summer. You got to be really good in shape and stuff like that. But it was a really good experience. You know, freshmen, they put us on suicide squad. We were out there on kickoff, and I was on kickoff, and I don't know where the guy come from. I tell you what, it looked like I just killed. When he hit me, I think he hit me from the blind side of the head too, because I didn't see him coming out like that. Yeah. It looked like I must have killed a fifth whiskey right on the field. I mean, I fell down 3 times trying to get up.
Yeah.
Then they took and grabbed me and kind of threw me on the sideline. I didn't know who was playing. It was mild concussion, and I tell you what, that was the first time I said, don't put me back in this game.
Yeah.
Let me just chill for the rest of this one.
I was shaking because I didn't know it was really a hard hit. But that's football. I mean, I loved it and stuff like that. But sometimes, you know, you learn from experience.
I've always been told it's better to be the hitter and not the person getting hit.
Oh, yeah.
But I guess if you're on the kickoff, it don't matter. You can get hit or hit. In those situations.
You know, anytime you go from one level to another, if you were in middle school, when you go to high school, you run into guys unlike what you've played against before. When you leave high school and come to college, I don't care if you go into a D3, whatever level you're going to, just as Darnell said, you are running up against guys that are as equally talented as you were where you came from. And it's best, that little nail that's on the door, when you walk into the dressing room, you put your ego on that little nail and leave it there, and you check it on the way back out, you know, because you'll run into something that'll take it'll take your pride. I'm telling you, man, it is. It's an adjustment.
What do you think about that? I got some more guests lined up. Before we get you got a prediction or anything for us? You think Morehead can pull it off?
Oh, no. I don't think they can pull it off. Okay. I mean, Easton is a different caliber team. It's a different league and stuff like that. You know, on your best days, you know, just like Kentucky last week against Georgia, that was one of Kentucky's best days.
It was.
I mean, I don't care who they played, they would have played
and
good that day.
And you have to take advantage of those situations.
Exactly.
Themselves.
Yeah, if you get a chance to knock off a team like that, you better do it because they don't come around very often.
Yeah, exactly.
And, you know, I remember my 4 years here, we never lost to Morehead.
No.
We never lost to Morehead.
I mean, it's...
Now, see, if we wasn't on the air, he'd have a whole lot.
I was going to say, he's being nice to you right now. Well, thank you, sir, for stopping by. We appreciate it.
Thanks, buddy.
Take you. We'll step aside for the commercial break. We'll be right back on the EKU Tailgate Show.
To everyone out there who loves Culver's,
the feeling is mutual.
Everything's made fresh.
Everything.
It's our pleasure.
This is me and my happy place.
I wouldn't trade our Culver's for any other restaurant.
Culver's.
Yay!
We love our guests.
Love.
As
much as our guests love us.
This is me and my happy place.
from Wisconsin with love.
Welcome to Delicious.
Yeah.
At the Botany Bay, you can find things you like to do stuff with. From mellow evenings to euphoric adventures, we've got what you need to keep it cosmic, dude. And we're not the only thing high. This month's savings are through the roof. We got silicone pipes 20% off, disc golf and bags 15% off, select disposables up to 50% off. On top of all that, we're clearing out our hookah inventory and so much more. Get all the cool stuff you need at our Lexington and Richmond locations. The Botany Bay. Elevate your day the fun way.
Your vehicle's safety and integrity depend on its windows, which means a small crack can lead to big problems. Whether it's a repair or a replacement, the experts at Aero Auto Glass can have your car's windows looking like new in no time. With mobile service available in Lexington, Richmond, and surrounding areas, you can have your car serviced close to home. If you have damaged auto glass, call the professionals at Aero Auto Glass, 866-975-4527.
Excel Auto Care, your complete car care center, has been in business over 26 years. They are a great option for all the best brands of tires. They do transmission work. They'll work on your engine from top to bottom, no matter how complex the issue. And they always have their brake special, which is $279.99 for brakes and rotors on most vehicles. At Excel Auto Care, 245 North Keeneland Drive in Richmond, we offer discounts to Eastern students and our veterans.
When perfect is in the air, you can feel it. Presenting the new Ultimate Comfort System from Lennox, the most advanced heating and air conditioning system ever.
Call 859-779-0122 now and get the best Lennox home comfort systems at a price you'll love. That's affordable heating and air at 859-779-0122 or online at affordableheating-air.com.
When big flavor and great value get together, you know it's Sonny's. And with our Pick of the Pit combos, you can make your perfect plate with Pick 2 or Pick 3 meats, 2 sides, and bread. Or let us pick for you with options like the savory pork and rib combo. Less skimping on the barbecue you're craving? That's just one more reason why it's always Sonny's here. Sonny's Barbecue. Local pitmasters since '68.
Welcome back into the EKU Tailgate Show. Michael Watkins, Howard Miller, now joined by Terry Johnson. Now, you've got your new job here with Eastern. You kind of a different role and a bigger role to kind of expand it with football and other sports as well. So, for folks that don't know exactly what you're doing with this area now at EKU, talk about what you do here with the university and with the sports department.
Yeah, definitely. I've been here. Thank you for having me. I've been here a little over a month, so I'm a KG veteran now.
Came in and jumped right in.
I've been in the sports world for about a little over 30 years, and I came here as senior associate athletic director in charge of corporate sponsorships. So that's my role. That's what I spend my day hours doing. And my wife's an alum. We've got some ties here, and I've known Kyle Moats, the athletic director here. I worked for him a long time ago at UK in the athletics program there. So had that connection. This kind of worked when Sean Hamilton moved over into development, and so I tell everybody I'm the new and improved Sean Hamilton. So
well, listen, I've been saying that for 10 years. So
yeah, exactly.
It's nice to meet you, Sean.
Yeah, it's nice to meet you.
Yep.
Well, let's talk about this. So there's a very cool thing, Gage. I don't know if you could. Gage is going to get a shot over here for us of what you called a. I'll let you kind of explain it. It's a very cool tailgating experience.
Yeah,
right?
it's a mobile hospitality experience. So there's a company called TLT Suites in Nicholasville, and they have 5 of these units, and they rent them out to facilities that don't have maybe or may have unique hospitality options but don't have traditional hospitality options. So it's something that I've been talking to them about. They were kind enough to bring this down here at no charge to us this year or this week for people to see it, and we got a large tailgate out here using it. It's climate controlled inside. It's got a mini fridge. It's got charging stations. It's got a big screen TV inside. It's got rooftop access. It's got lawn furniture and an awning that comes out. And what we're going to introduce, I think, next week is we've got room for a couple of them inside the stadium. We're outside the stadium, obviously, at the courtyard, but we have room for them inside the stadium up on top of the hill. And we're going to be selling those to organizations on a week-to-week basis to enjoy EKU football with a unique hospitality experience that nobody else can really have. So it's new, and we're excited about it and excited they were able to bring it down here.
Well, you can tell something like this is going to be big.
Yeah. Well, I was getting ready to say what we need to do is work it out next week. We need to be inside that thing. It'd be a lot cooler on us doing the show.
You got that?
Yeah. Yes. There's a generator. It is climate controlled, so when it's too cold, it's got heat. When it's too warm like today, it's got cold, and it's really neat. It's got room for about 25 up top on the roof. There's bar tables and stools are up there. We can put tents on top of it. And then, it probably is prime for about anywhere from 30 to 40, 35 to 45 maybe total in the area and be able to access it. Like I said, it's got a big screen TV. You can stream whatever on there. If you stream, a YouTube TV, get the quad box, get other games going on while you're tailgating ahead of the game.
That's awesome.
And then have the actual telecast of the game
Right there.
in the suite. And if it's raining, you got some cover. You know, it's a phenomenal place.
Well, let me ask you. So, if somebody's seeing this and they're an avid tailgater, they want to do this just to try it for one game. How do they get in touch with you or these folks to work that out?
Yeah, definitely. So they can call me, Terry Johnson. It's 859-619-4399.
Okay.
So I've officially given my mobile number out on the radio and TV.
Don't call him after 10 o'clock. Let him get some rest.
Yeah, I'm old, man. 9 o'clock. 859-619-4399. I can talk them through all the different things. If they want to see, the ins and outs of what we're talking about, they can go to TLTSuites.com, and that's the company that we get them from, and it's got a video on there, kind of has all the details
tour
of it.
Type thing.
Yeah, definitely. And so, 859-619-4399. Call me, and we'll talk about it.
And here's the thing, folks. I mean, this is a great for tailgating, but I mean, if you're having an outdoor family reunion, or a birthday party, or if you're going out to Bourbon and beyond, I mean, you need a place. You could probably take a nap in this thing.
Yeah, you'll see a couple of them. If you watch the Big Noon Kickoff on Fox, one of these suites goes everywhere they go. They use it, and it's on camera. You'll see it. And then there's a couple that are usually used, one or two that's usually used at UK, tailgating out in one of those lots. So I think we've got an opportunity to get a couple of them here every game, and it's just a way that alums, clubs, corporations have employees out or whatever. It's a great opportunity for them.
It would be great for camping as well.
I didn't think about that.
Camping. Oh, Lord, how much? Take that thing down to the lake.
Yeah.
You'd have to shoo people away, man.
And I tell you, getting on the rooftop, it is really neat. It's a great view, and on a night like tonight, it'd be phenomenal. So
that's what I was thinking. I mean, you get up there on top of that roof, you get a different view of campus down through there. You could see more of the tailgaters.
Yeah.
And last week I didn't really get a chance to go down there, but it looks like it's filled today. I mean, it's a lot more people, I think, out today than what we've seen last week.
I think so. And the band behind us is great, and the courtyard's great. Corey Neal on our staff, who oversees all this, is doing a great job of getting people out. It's great to see the kids. We were talking about it. Howard and I were talking about some of the men's basketball team members are in here supporting, football and other teams that we have out. It's a great scene out here today.
Now, were you at the event last night with basketball? I know you're staying busy with this stuff.
Right. I was not able to make that. Kyle Moats was out there and our staff, but I was not able to make it out there last night. But I'm looking forward to it, our basketball season and all that's going on. It's a neat event.
And this is the best time of year to be a sports fan. We're knee deep in football season now, but I think basketball, their first practice is Monday.
It's coming up really quick, and the renovation of the Baptist Health Arena. In there, talking about hospitality, we're going to have a premium club. We're talking to some folks about putting naming rights on that, and the concourse level premium club where you're going to be able to entertain 250, 300 kind of people. Also there's going to be a courtside club. So those with courtside seats, there'll be a space for about 60 to 70 people in there, and it's another unique thing that when that renovation's done and that January 9th basketball game, it'll be much different than what people have seen when they last went in that arena.
Before we let you go, one more time, give us the website for the suites and how they can get in touch with you if they want to rent one.
Call me, Terry Johnson, at 859-619-4399, or text me, either way. And you can go to TLTSuites.com.
There you go, folks.
It'll tell you everything about the units themselves.
All right, we appreciate you stopping by. We're going to have, I tell you what, Howard is great. They like talking to him a lot more than they like talking to me. So we've got another couple of good guests lined up. Step aside for another commercial break. We'll come right back and bring them on the EKU Tailgate Show.
I'm Michelle. And I'm Jennifer. And in the spring of 1992, Bishop Small Engine Repair was born in our mom and dad's barn in Estill County.
Then in the fall of 1992, we made the move to Madison County, where we are today. With the support of our family, customers, and community, we have continued to grow in the outdoor power industry. With a full line of products from Kokudet, Grasshopper, Echo, and Shindawa, we can help you tackle your yard so you can enjoy it with your family. Bishop Small Engine Repair, where our focus is our customer. Stop on in, 119 North Estill Avenue in Richmond. We can't wait to see ya.
Who makes the best meal in Richmond? Nuevo Vallarta. Friendly service, a place that's good for kids and good for groups. Head to Nuevo Vallarta on Big Hill Avenue in Richmond. Nuevo Nuevo Vallarta is known for warm hospitality, great prices, great food, and the best fajitas in town. Start with an appetizer, order a la carte, or choose from their huge menu of Mexican favorites for grown-ups and kids. Nuevo Vallarta on Big Hill Avenue in Richmond.
Whitaker Bank in Madison County is your local bank for convenience. With more branches than literally any other bank in Madison County, why go anywhere else? Whitaker Bank is known for their friendly customer service and easy access drive-thrus. Whitaker Bank, your home for local, friendly, family banking. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
Granite, marble, and quartz for any surface. Make a lifetime commitment you won't regret.
Cars of Kentucky is a proud sponsor of Eastern Kentucky University Athletics. In Richmond, we bleed maroon. Go Colonels. And when you're ready for your next pre-owned automobile, swing on over to Cars of Kentucky. Cars of Kentucky has vehicles starting at $3,000 and up, so we literally have something for every budget. 356 Big Hill Avenue in Richmond, or check them out, carsofkentucky.com. Let's go Colonels!
To some, it's just a boat. But to Jim, it's his escape from meetings, traffic, and the grind of daily life. He may not catch any keepers, but he wouldn't trade his day on the lake for anything in the world. That's why his boat is insured by Kentucky Farm Bureau. But it's not just Kentucky's Farm Bureau. It's Jim's Recharge the Battery Farm Bureau. My Farm Bureau.
David Mayo, John Rader, and Chris Hornsby with Kentucky Farm Bureau.
Welcome back into the EKU Tailgate Show. Howard Miller, Michael Watkins, and Howard, another big guest here joining us here on the show. Very, very important to the EKU football team, right?
Well, you know, one of the things that fans do not get a chance to see often is the behind-the-scene things that go on. You know, they come to the game, they tailgate, they go sit in the seats, they see the team come out, do what they do. But they don't realize how much goes into getting an actual game together. A lot of times they don't have no idea of all of the equipment that has to be moved from point A to point B. They don't realize that there's some guys that get the teams from one point to the other. We have with us today one of our drivers. Okay. One of the guys has been driving EKU for years. He's an EKU alum. I think your parents went here to EKU, your dad?
My in-laws.
Okay, your in-laws went here. His daughter's a student here now. John Crum.
Okay, how's it going, John?
I saw him, and I just wanted him to come on board for a second because, again, I wanted him to know how much we appreciate the job that they do.
Yeah. Well, John, and that's one thing I think people take for granted again is everybody goes to the away games. The team's here. Well, how'd they get there? You don't think about that. So talk about your experience and just riding the team, and you've probably been around a lot of different coaches during your time as well, right?
Yeah. It really means a lot being an alum. Just, my time here at Eastern is time I'll always treasure. Yeah. So when I retired from the fire service, I was looking for something totally different to do. Went to work with the bus company that we use to transport. And, I've been driving for football for a few years with Coach Wells and in basketball with Coach Hamilton. And, I tell you, it's just been a great experience. Win or loss, it's good. A lot of people are concerned about the future. There are some fine young men here, and I think we're going to be fine. But it's just really cool to get to be a small part of that, and I appreciate it.
Big part.
Well, and I think for you too. I mean, being an alumni myself, I love being able to showcase the players, and for you, this is kind of your way of still being able to be involved and to be able to give back a little bit as well.
Sure. Oh, absolutely. And I think I joke with President McFadden. I said I think I'm probably more involved as an alum and retired guy than I ever was when I was going to school because I was busy.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say I didn't study a whole lot, but I was busy doing other things when I was on campus, But, if you got a cool story or anything that you could talk about maybe on air before we let you go?
When I retired, I'd been in the fire service for 31 years.
Okay.
And when I retired, I was really struggling, not necessarily missing the job, but the camaraderie.
Yeah.
But getting to be with basketball and football and getting to, have meals with these young men and getting to be around them and learning their stories and just kind of hearing what they're about. That has been the special part for me. I got to be with the basketball team at the CBI 2 years ago.
Oh, yeah. That
down
was
in
a lot
Daytona.
of fun then.
I ate 3 meals a day with those guys.
Yeah.
And I treasure those moments. That replaced some camaraderie that I really lost when I retired from the fire service.
Yeah.
And I really appreciate it. Coach Hamilton let me be a part of that.
Okay. Well, Howard, you got anything you want to ask him too?
No, I'll see you in a couple of weeks.
There you
I'll
go.
see you in a few weeks, man.
Yep. Well, we got President McFadden. You was just talking about him. We're going to let him take your headset here. We'll let him hop on with us real quick.
Thanks a lot, buddy. Thanks a lot.
Bring on Mr. President McFadden, talk about a lot of things EKU.
After the bus driver comes the president.
After the bus driver comes, we're just going to hop on here. We're still live here, so we just wanted to kind of talk to you about obviously a great turnout for this game today, and I think having Morehead come into here just creates a different kind of buzz, in-state rivalry game here at RKS.
It is great to have Morehead back on campus. Dr. Morgan and I talked a little bit. He wasn't able to make it today. We were trying to get the hog rifle back to center field, and so I think looking at that opportunity, we had it here for my installation 3 years ago. So kind of a neat story. Back in the day, Dr. Martin, all those folks.
Yeah. Well, when you look at that, were you able to go to the event last night at Chenal Vineyards?
No,
for
I
basketball?
had a dad duty last night that kept me from going, but I heard a great event, great turnout. The coach and I just talked a minute ago, over $100,000 raised to support the program. He's excited about the team this year, likes his team, and we're excited to get started.
I think one thing that I've really seen over the last few years, and I think you and what Matt did were a big part of that, is growing the sports department within the community and garnering and gaining that fan support, which you have to have, obviously. But I've seen a lot more people involved within the community than I've seen 10 years ago. And it's, I think, a big testament to these coaches getting out and doing the work out in the community themselves.
And the players. I mean, when we were back to school, seeing all of our players and our athletes and our spirit squads at all of our elementary schools, our middle schools, welcoming the students back, I think it makes Eastern Richmond's team, Madison County's team. And I think for us, that's a strong statement when there's other things going on here in Central Kentucky for them to choose to be here. And when I look at this crowd, we got a lot of young kids out here, and so that's exciting for the future.
Yeah, and Howard, I think that's one of the big things, too. When you see the things that go on here with tailgating, with the inflatables here next to us, the music, you see the little ones out dancing around, playing cornhole, bringing in a younger audience of future Colonel fans, tying it in with the older audience, which is one thing that I think in the last few years I've tried to reach out to myself, is those die-hard EKU football fans. You bring those together with a younger audience, and it's just going to make things a lot better.
Well, recruiting starts, Mike, before senior year of high school. Recruiting starts when kids like these that we're looking at, shooting the basketball, playing cornhole, over-talking to the basketball team. Yeah. That's when your real recruiting begins. You can't just go out and win 16 and 17-year-olds over if they don't know nothing about you. And I think that we're going through a period right now when it is a great period to be a colonel.
Yes.
And I think this guy sitting in between us, man, he has absolutely done a wonderful job in that thing you're talking about between the community and the campus.
Aspect,
last year when we was up at the park, I don't know how many people that, local people that I was talking to while the team and everybody was there. And I said, there's EKU's president. They said, where? I said, right there. And they looked over and they saw him, and they couldn't believe it. In his jeans, his cowboy boots, just relaxed, intermingling with people. And see, a lot of times, people don't expect that from your president or people of high, responsibility.
High-ranking positions.
They don't expect that. And my hat's off to the way that President McFadden has made himself available and just no holds barred in that effort to bring the community and the university together.
We don't want you to get the big head, but I mean, he's always been good to me. Anytime I've ever asked for an interview or a media request or whatever the case may be, he's always been good to us. And you have obviously been a big part of the growth of the campus. But real quick, I mean, talk about the future and what we're looking like. There's a lot more big things coming down the pipeline.
Well, yeah, athletics, obviously, the front door to the campus, a great way to get the community involved and engaged. But, our academic programs, we're really excited about what's going on. We're eager to push our med school starting first of the year. I really think, as I think about my time, 28 years affiliated with this institution, now, 13 going on 14 years back, 5 years as president. I told my team, I said, if we can make this Doctor of Osteopathic Medical School happen, if we make that a reality for this community, the ways it will change, not just the institution, not just our community, but Kentucky is transformational. And so we're just, we're eager to be a part of that. Our aviation program, our model lab school, getting ready to start construction there. We've got a lot of great things that are going on campus. I think Eastern's best days are ahead. And as Howard's been around her a little longer than me, but as I'm nearing
myself in Carl Park.
Yeah. Well, Carl Park was my old boss, so I just have to ask KP, how it was. But the truth is, we're building on some really great work, and we're doing it with amazing people and great partners.
Well, as I've alluded to before, I remember sneaking in an old Hanger Stadium back when the football field was where the Powell building, the Meditation Chapel, and the Wallace building was. Coach Kidd and a couple of the coaches lived in little houses right there beside the street. I think Ron House alluded to that last week. And when, as an individual, growing up in Richmond, had seen from Todd, Dupree, and some of the old dorms that came and have gone.
Commonwealth.
And all of that. Yeah. I mean, it's an amazing growth process when you see, just like when you go through campus now, all of the construction right there by the Disney building and redoing of Keene and all of that. I mean, it's a great time again. It's a great time to be a Colonel.
One thing that I think sports fans are excited about is the new Baptist Health Arena and the renovation going on with it. Have you got an update or anything on it? I know some of the teams have been able to kind of tour it. What's the latest on the new renovation there?
Yeah, we're on schedule. Supposed to get our temporary certificate of occupancy right after the first of the year. First game scheduled to be played January 9th.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So we'll be in there playing the conference season for men's and women's basketball. We'll keep that venue open through the commencement cycle. We'll get our local high schools in there. That's really important to them. And then we'll close down next summer again. To kind of finish up that project and then really be ready to cut the ribbon on that building. Completely done when we welcome Western Kentucky University in here next fall.
That'll be awesome.
I tell you, when that building opens up, I'm going to ask Coach Hamilton to put me in the game. Let me score.
Well, I tell you what, I know Coach likes to have the three-pointer shot. That was not my forte. But if he needs somebody to get there and talk some trash, I'll be ready.
And no matter how old we are or how good we are, we all got 5 fouls, right?
Notice how he looks over at me. No matter how old we are, boom, boom, yeah.
Well, I just thought, Howard, if somebody could need to put a foul on somebody, you might be able to move somebody in there.
That would be about it. I was talking to a couple of guys the other day. Tootie Irwin, one of the best football players that ever come out of Eastern Kentucky University. I think I ran into him at Golden Corral a couple of weeks ago, and I said, Tootie, do you miss it? He said, no. He said, no, I really don't. I said, Tootie, you think you got one more play in you? He said, no, I don't, because the game is so interesting now.
Yeah,
but
it's different.
You'd like to think I got one more shot, I got one more sprint, I got one more tackle or whatever.
Well, I mean, the late, great Toby Smith said, I'm not as good as I once was, but I'm as good
Keith,
once
there you
as
go.
I ever was.
Yeah. Hey, that's when you think about it, I think we would all think, we should get like an alumni game or something in there. I think that would be good.
Consistent of who?
Well, we put us three out there, and we go out there and play, and alumni staff.
You know what? I have a 1-0 record as an alumnus coach.
Oh, well, see, there you go.
Yeah, a few years ago, we had an alumni game, and Donna
The work of that with Donnie. Oh, yeah, the super fan. Okay.
She was coaching one team, and I was and I beat. Oh yeah, yeah. Yes.
Well, I'll tell you this: if we're doing an alumni game, we got to have a rock solid waiver.
So, yeah, that's probably true.
So get all that sign.
I had a lot of intramural success when I went to Eastern, and what I will always do is try to get me at least one or two football players, get a bunch of shooters, and make me look good. I'd always be the captain of the team, so I'd always try to get one or two football players, get some shooters, try to recruit inside the rec center, and then try to get us a good team together.
They try to make you look good. Hey, look here, for president, don't this guy look just like if he ever gets out of education, he ought to go to Hollywood. Kick back, look at him, boy. Cool hand Luke.
Walker, Texas Ranger reboot, starring David McFadden. I like it. Well, sir, thank you for coming on
Appreciate
with us.
you guys.
Big game today, EKU, Morehead State. We're going to hand it off to Greg Stoudemire, Jim Tyree, and Wes Chandler for the pregame show and then the call of the game. We'll step aside, and we'll see you all next week, Howard. Another fun show today, man.
Looking forward to it. It's an excellent time to be a colonel, and this is, I think this is a growing experience.
Yeah.
And the thing about it, Mike, is that every week we're getting more and more young kids. They're going, telling their friends, and their friends are showing up with them, and we just need to build on it,
There
buddy.
you go.
We need to build on it.
See you all next week. Go Colonels. Taking on Morehead State. We'll see you all next week on the EKU Tailgate Show.